Alright, so my issue of Thomas Valiant came in. So how do I review this? I know.
Hey, how you doing? This is Solomon Knight. Well, I finally got my issue of Thomas Valiant from the Fourth Age Comics Company. Gonna have to get used to saying that because looks like I'm going to be buying more from them. Or I guess I'll just be buying more. Anyway, I guess I should get on to this review. Thomas Valiant is a story of a man who wants to change himself for the better, since he did not like the man staring back at him from the mirror. As a call to action, he drafts a team using his past military connections and other misfits to show up the leading superhero teams on what an actual hero is about. The story is a simple metaphor for the Fourth Age comics position in the world of modern comics. And it kind of comes a bit more as it goes on, but I'm not going to go too far deep in that. You're going to have to read it yourself. Trust me, you want to read it. The story itself is fairly simple to understand, yet it's very telling. Even if you do not watch Yellow Flash's videos on the cells of the comic book industries, you will get enjoyment from the tongue-in-cheek roles that the story finds itself in, and also just the character dynamics. The teamwork between RJ and Renzo gives off a beautiful interplay that in the comic medium that leaves the reader excited for more. Speaking of the art, Renzo has a special talent for being able to blend the cartoonish style of superheroics and the drama that is needed to draw in viewers who are more apprehensive because of the comic book medium. I'm going to use My Hero Academia as an example because while the story is good, it shows off what a hero really is. However, it looks really cartoonish and can be off-putting to some, to say the least. I'll flash a few scans on the screen so you can see what I'm talking about. The difference in quality between My Hero Academia and Thomas Valiant. That being said, the art is phenomenal at using the comic book medium to the point where anything on the page can be used by anyone. And it's used to both comedic effect and also dramatic effect. Something that's rarely seen, and I just personally love whenever the comic medium is used in that way. However, now it's time to get into some constructive criticism. The biggest issue I have is something that kind of led to some confusion. Valiant number 2 is a man named Ostrich who is for some reason called Calculator in his first real speaking role, and for about halfway through that story where he is suddenly named Ostrich. I mean, at the start of the book, they name him as Ostrich, but near the end of it, but in his actual speaking role, he's called Calculator, and it threw me off for a second. So that's one thing that can be cleared up for in the future. Just make sure characters have the same name all the way through, or at least have some explanation. Like, well, I can't really get too far into it because it would be spoilers, but there's another character who you do explain who their actual name is. Just like how you explain how Thomas Valiant's name as when he was part of the Legion team was Putty Man, but now he just goes by Thomas Valiant, or Valiant if you want. As I said earlier, this leads to some confusion. Another criticism I have is that some backstories could be fleshed out some more to give you a bit more context, but that could be explained in later issues, which I'm actually hoping we do get later issues because I want to see where this leads to, especially with that ending. That actually leads me to my favorite parts of the book. There is no dialogue or just art panel that is not wasted. There's no downtime. Everything is needed to make sense on what comes later at the end of the story. Everything's a setup for a joke, a plot point, or even a character revelation. And that goes directly to my final point. Valiant has agency and is able to feel and take responsibility for his actions. Far too often in modern comics, characters get away scot-free from their choices, and it's turned them into rotten people. I'm just going to use Carol Danvers, the current Captain Marvel, as an example. In Marvel Comics, for Civil War II, well, the lead up to Civil War II, they actually had her be directly responsible for getting Rhodey killed. And then when Tony Stark brings Rhodey back from the dead, all of a sudden Rhodey and Carol are back together as lovers, despite the fact that Carol got Rhodey killed. There's no real way around that. That was directly Carol's fault, and she never faced any repercussions for that. So it is refreshing to actually see a character who has a choice, he follows through on that choice, and then if anything does happen, he actually takes responsibility for both the good and the bad outcomes of said choice. And truth be told, I think that wraps up the main theme of the book. Power does not make one a hero, but the actions that a man takes determines whether he's a hero or not. It actually reminds me of a famous quote that I will end this review off with.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
Overall, between the classic thought bubbles and just engaging dialogue that actually takes these characters seriously, I would have to give this first outing of Thomas Valiant a 9 out of 10. With the issue with the ostrich calculator confusion the only thing holding it back. Alright, this has been Solomon Knight, and if you guys like these reviews, just let me know in the comments below. Thank you, and I will see you later. Solo, over and out. Hello there, this is Solomon Knight, and I take it you made it to the end of the video. I graciously want to say thank you for your time. If you like the content, please like, share, and subscribe. I also have several social media accounts that you can follow me on, and there's even some alt tech exclusives. Link in the descriptions below. See you there.